So, it's the 1st of August. Now's about time we talk about what Double Masters 2022 singles you guys should buy if you're looking to make a small investment into some pretty good cards. Welcome back, Dragon Folk, to another episode of us still talking about Double Masters 2022. That's right. It's still relevant. And it's only relevant because we still are waiting 2 weeks to hear anything new about Dominaria United. So keep your eyes peeled for some more of this content. But this is probably right around the time in which I'd like to announce that it's probably a good time to buy. It's the new month, right? It's almost 30 days after release. So it is definitely going to be a good time to pick some stuff up, and a lot of it is hitting its bottom right now. So it is a very good time to pick some stuff up, especially things that would be considered worthwhile to a lot of people. So I want to start off by going over the budget buys, and then kind of work our way into the high roller buys. So of course, a lot of the rares and mythics in this set, when they come in their foil etched versions or their borderless versions, tend to be worth a decent amount, but not all of them, right? So we're going to go over a few that are here, and we're going to talk about some budget buys that you could pick up for pretty cheap, and still get a pretty fantastic card out of it to be used in your decks. So we're going to start off by any of the charms. So any of the guild charms, the shard charms, the wedge charms, any of the charms in this set. The price for the base version of those cards, pretty cheap. And of course, it's like that all around the board, but these are good things to pick up for your budget decks. And they're also fantastic additions to many other decks as well. They are used in other pro decks, so something to keep in mind for things like Pioneer or Modern or so on and so forth, right? The next thing that I want to talk about as far as is budget buys go is the uncommon and common borderless cards. So any uncommon or common borderless card, I highly suggest picking up. They're pretty cheap if you just buy them at their normal version, not foil. They're pretty cheap. I think the most expensive one I want to say was Lightning Bolt. Simic Growth Chamber and Lightning Bolt both are actually pretty cheap, I would say. I think it's under $3 for each card base price. So maybe double it, right? Roughly around $5 per card ish. And that's what you're looking for the foil version. So all of these cards in their foil art versions, right? Terminate, Muldrifter, Eternal Witness. You've got Blood Artist, Young Pyromancer. All of the, but more specifically, what I wanted to go over was the bounce lands here. So for a lot of people, bounce lands are a great addition to their deck, specifically if they can't afford things like shock lands or fetch lands or dual lands even. This is a good substitute for those lands. And so having the ability to get all of them, right, in Double Masters 2022 in a borderless art is fantastic. I myself actually just purchased a playset of each one in foil, all for a whopping $65. So that's about 40 cards for about $65, $70, right? Now, that's not a whole lot considering the fact that, you're getting 4 of each. Now, are they played a lot in actual Modern and Pioneer? I do not believe so. But they are fantastic, and they do have a place in budget decks. A lot of people, when you buy a Commander Precon, those usually have bounce lands in them. So to get something like this to replace your bounce land in your Commander Precon, very well could be a fantastic buy. I'm sure some people out there are going to want to completely make their deck the highest rarity it possibly can be, and this is the highest rarity it possibly can be in a borderless foil version of itself. So definitely something to pick up. I quite like the idea of having them, but of course, not everybody thinks that. That's why I'm only buying 4. You know, don't maybe not buy 10. If you can afford it, you could buy 10 or 8 or 12. Buy them in sets of 12 or sets of 4. But that's pretty much the big thing here for budget buys. You do have also other stuff as well, like Cold Steel Heart, and there's a ton of low cost cards as well in the foil etched section as well. Now, low cost is subjective, right? I mean, not everybody has the same low cost as myself, right? But I still view a lot of these cards to be pretty low and still be worth it in regards to their foil etched versions. Now, the reason I say specifically these foil etched versions is because foil etched, and this is going to come up in the high roller buys too, but foil etched cards, no matter the price, probably will retain, if not go up in value as the years go on, strictly because there's only one way to find a foil etched card, and that is in collector boosters in one slot. That's it. It is at the same rate, the same kind of deal as getting a textured foil, other than the fact that a textured foil replaces a slot in the back of a collector pack. A foil etched card is guaranteed in every one of the collector packs, but it's of course got a larger pool of cards. So getting something that is higher in the rarity scale, such as an Imperial Seal, is going to go for much more than if you were getting something like, let's say, a Thrumming Stone, right? And Thrumming Stone, even right now in foil etched, is going for $15. Now, that's not bad, considering the Thrumming Stone reprint is really great in a lot of tribal decks. So Thrumming Stone definitely helps out there. Assassin's Trophy also is another fantastic card to grab at $14 right now. Bloom Tender at $15, Darksteel Plate at $13, Panharmonicon at $8, Hydroid Crassus for you Simic, Leviathan lovers. That is a pretty solid card. You also have Muldrotha, the Gravetide, at $6 for its foil etched version. A lot of people make some pretty good commander decks with Muldrotha, so definitely something to look into and pick up. You can also, on that same note, pick up things like Kalia of the Vast, which is a little bit more expensive, but a very, very well-known commander. There's several other, the command cards are also available in there, like Kolgan's Command and Atarka's Command. Those are available in there. Dragonlord Sumlagar, he's also in there. There's a lot of really lower cost stuff, along with the Liege cards. So the Liege cards are those dual colored cards that buff your creatures of those colors and also have its own ability. The Liege cards, there's one for every guild, so it is perfect. It's much akin to buying the bounce lands. Every one of these Liege cards in foil etch seems to go for under $5. Now, are they common in a lot of decks? I'm not too sure, but I would imagine that they are, because there are probably a lot of players who would use them for their beginner decks, for their budget decks, right? Everybody likes a good budget deck, and having a card that's under $5 be able to assist you as much as a Liege card does is pretty good. So definitely something to think about there. Of course, let me know in the comments if there are any cards that you guys see that you would like to check out. Again, big thing to check here is the uncommon and common borderless cards. Nothing there is above $3. So, and a lot of stuff is really good. Lightning Bolt in a borderless version of itself, you can't go wrong with that. Every red player plays Lightning Bolt. Just about every red player plays Lightning Bolt. You have Blood Artist, right? Blood Artist is used in a lot of like rat decks and so on and so forth. Muldrifter, Eternal Witness, Terminate, Seasoned Pyromancer, or not Seasoned Pyromancer, Young Pyromancer. You have cards that can do this, and even if you don't want to get the borderless version, the regular version is just a little bit cheaper. So those are also very much so available. Very good budget buys. And there are a few rares as well on that list that are in the budget buys. Of course, they are the lower end rares that not a lot of people are so incredibly hyped about. They've seen a lot of reprints in the past, but if you can get them in a foil etched version of themselves when there wasn't one already, I suggest picking up a foil etched version of that card, because guess what? It's going to be more expensive in the long run. All right, now to move on to the high roller buys, right? We have a lot of stuff that kind of just genuinely makes sense to get, right? You've got, if you have the money to get this kind of stuff, it's good to at least get a couple of them, right? If you can truly afford it. And hopefully these will accrue in value throughout the years. But for the most part, they seem to start to go up more and more as the days go on. They seem to be a lot harder to find. So definitely something to look into as far as that. A lot of graphs and so on and so forth involved. But Imperial Seal was going down a little bit last time we talked about it. So it's only a few more dollars down now than it was then. But still something to consider picking up, because who knows when the next time they're going to reprint Imperial Seal is. And who knows what kind of play it gets in Commander to the point where it skyrockets in price again. And then, of course, the textured foils, right? The chase cards of this set are the textured foil cards. So, of course, there's only 5 of them, and you can buy all 5 for under the price of a case of collector booster boxes. So, if you are looking for those specific cards and you have the money to go ahead and drop on a case, I suggest instead buying one of each of those textured foil cards, and then if you have anything left over, right, you can save up and get a couple boxes or something of that sort to keep sealed. Because keeping sealed is going to be the better choice for a lot of high rollers, specifically because these cards are going to do very well sealed throughout the time, specifically the collector booster boxes. So definitely going to be a good choice. Now, back into another card that is really, really well known, and back to more lands, is Cavern of Souls, right? Cavern of Souls got 3 printings and 3 different variants. It's got the base printing, the foil etched printing, and the borderless printing. Obviously, the foil etched printing being the hardest one to acquire and the most rare. So if you can pick that up now, that'd probably be good, because it's probably only going to go up in price from this point forward. It's the first foil etched Cavern of Souls, and who knows, it'll probably be the last. Who's to say? You also have Dockside Extortionist, right? Again, same concept. It's in base, foil etched, and borderless. A lot of people like the borderless art, but at the end of the day, foil etched is where you're going to want to go. If you are a high roller, this whole list, right? I want you to think of any card you want from Double Masters 2022, and I want you to choose the foil etched version of the card instead of anything else. And the reason for that being, other than maybe Smothering Tithe, because I think a lot of people do enjoy the new artwork of Smothering Tithe and its borderless art more, but for the sake of rarity, the foil etched versions of cards are going to go for significantly more, because they are just as uncommon to find as, things like, textured foils or anything of the sort. Because you can find one in every collector pack, but the rate at which you find something really good, like a Dockside or a Cavern of Souls or an Imperial Seal or a Kalia even, like these things are all, the pool is much higher. So you have more bulk cards to pick up, which a lot of those bulk cards, again, back to our budget buys, you can pick those up in foil etched, and I'm almost certain it'll go up in price, because these foil etched, they're just going to do that. You have to crack only collector packs to get foil etched. They don't come in draft packs. So textured foils and foil etched cards only come in collector booster boxes. So you have to crack those in order to get them. And a lot of people are now realizing that they should have kept them sealed or are starting to keep them sealed. So you're going to get a lot less on the market, which means the price is going to rise up as people buy them out. So, of course, again, that's kind of the biggest to do about this. Things that I'm picking up personally, like I said, I picked up 4 of each of the bounce lands in their foil borderless art. I plan to do roughly the same thing with the shock lands that come in Infinity, because borderless lands are going to be the thing to use for your decks. If people are going to want to craft budget decks, they're not going to want... Why would you go buy a 5-cent bounce land when you could buy a $1 borderless bounce land with beautiful art and just about a cent, a few cents over, right? And of course, for you Pauper players, there is still quite a bit of fantastic Pauper cards through here, right? Shadowborn Apostle doing fantastic at roughly $2 a piece, as most... You can have as many cards as you want in your deck. Cards tend to do. Blood Artist is also doing pretty well in the uncommon slot. Other than its borderless, its regular version is also pretty cheap. Monastery Swiftspear, Seeker of the Way. These cards are all doing fantastic as well. It's just, you're able to make these cards specifically happen. You can pick up some of the other ones as well. So things like, any of the base set commons and uncommons that come from this set. But they may not be as versatile as things like buying land or buying any of these borderless cards, which are, they've chosen these borderless cards to be borderless specifically because of their use, I'm certain. So that is why I imagine it is the way it is, which is why I suggest that if you are going to buy uncommon or common cards in a bulk amount, you buy the ones that are specifically the borderless versions of the stuff, right? If you can afford some of the other small goodies that come out of there, fantastic. And of course, any low-cost foil etched cards are a great way to start as well. So these are my buys. This is what I'm kind of going over and checking stuff out. Again, I would definitely like to buy more of these lands, but I'm not going to buy more of the lands. I might buy the non-foil versions of them. I figure maybe I'll get them for like $30 at that rate if I get one of each, if I get 4 of each. So that way I just have more to play around with. But I think those are going to appreciate in value pretty well, as well as things like the borderless lightning bolts and the Terminates and Blood Artists. I think all of those are going to appreciate really well in their borderless art. So let me know down in the comments down below what you guys think as far as cards you're searching for. I know there's a lot of cards to go through in Double Masters 2022, and it's hard to find the ones that you truly want. But like I said, if it's in borderless and it's cheap, pick it up. If it's in foil etched and it's cheap, pick it up. That's kind of where the money's going to be as far as this set goes. So hopefully you find something fantastic in the deals here, and we're just going to keep on watching the climb as people stop cracking and start saving up for Dominaria United, and hopefully we can find some peace and see what kind of cool nonsense we can get along the way. So while you're down there leaving that comment, please make sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel as well if you have not already. We are skyrocketing ourselves up towards 300, so definitely make your mark there. Subscribe to the channel, and if you're really feeling up to it, you can go ahead and join our Patreon in the description down below. That is also going to be giving you a lot of cool benefits. At our gemstone tier, you are able to get 3 packs at random from me specifically. I will open them on a video and then send you whatever you want, whether it be just the foils and mythics and rares, or whether it be everything. I'd be more than happy to send that stuff to you guys for supporting the channel in such a amazing, generous way. So thank you again, and remember, to make it a great day or not, the choice is up to you. I'll see you soon. Nerd out.